Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Plus, you know it's my first run of the day. I just realized this. You know it's my first run of the day. And also today, the only run of the day. What the heck is this start? What the heck is even that? When you hear the intro at the start of this. So I gotta think about this one. Because we're in an extremely great spot. We have an Eden run with good stats, except for speed, where we start with 5 HP? That's not common. I mean, I don't even think you can get 5 HP without having, like, one of your items give you a bunch of HP. So I'm super stoked about it, don't get me wrong. But we also have the D100, which is in its own right one of the most powerful items in the entire game. Notice I didn't say one of the most dangerous items, because there are many more dangerous items. Largely that are just terrible, to be honest with you. Plan C, for example, clicker. I'll have I mean, Plan C just is not even fair. It doesn't have any real benefit associated with it at all, I think. At this point in my life, I still have never used Plan C effectively. I think it remains a pipe dream. I've heard tell that it could be used effectively in very unique situations, like, hey, I'm fighting Delirium, and I have 9 lives, and despite making it to Delirium, the only way I'm gonna kill Delirium is by having this spacebar item, otherwise, you know, I wouldn't make it. You know, I think there is literally a cross-section of runs where that makes sense. I ain't ever seen it in reality, but, you know, I've never seen a hydrogen molecule. I guess if you want to get technical, I have seen, it's not a molecule, sorry, an atom, but if you want to get technical, I suppose I have seen a hydrogen atom. I've just never recognized one because of its infinitesimal size. But I trust that it's there. So here's my thoughts. I think we will use the D100. I think we will use it sooner rather than later. But I don't think we use it yet. I was close. I was mighty close. But I don't... maybe we do use it now. Here's what I think you... Okay, hear me out. I think you'd leave, do this. What do you got? More bombs. Nothing great. We don't look at anything in here and go, this is amazing. So we're going to go one further. And now, what the... Okay, we got Hemolacria. We've still got Bomber Boys somehow. I really can't afford to take this yet, because it could be a Tears downgrade. It could be a Tears upgrade, but the Tears downgrade would be worth way more. So don't get me wrong, by the way. I'm stoked to have Bomber Boy. I actually think, like, this run, considering how few items we're rolling right now, Hemolacria Holy Light is actually an awesome combination. I think our damage stat is doing really well for itself as well. So I'm actually, like, completely okay with this. But we'll probably throw in many more rerolls, because the run, it tends not to get too zany too early, and we're really holding off until we see some zane. So there you go. There's your little preamble. There's your little... absolutely not. There's your little introduction to where we stand. Yeah, whatever. I got tired of holding it. There's your little introduction to where we stand in Isaac as we go for run 16. That's really good. I mentioned recently, I've recorded a lot less Isaac this week just because I've had other things on the go. You know, I've been really busy with other YouTube stuff and streaming. So Isaac, you know, it's not a bad thing to not be playing Isaac. It's just the reality, and that's why you have the backlog as big as it is in some situations, so you have the freedom to pursue other opportunities like this when they come up. But we're still roughly at the point, you know, where only, like, that was close. Only less than a week ago, my other streak has ended in real time. And I saw a comment that I really liked that said, you know what, like, you just won your second run of this new streak. Hopefully we can call it a new streak at least. And, you know, in many ways, I think that second win is more impressive than getting, like, 60 wins in a row. Because it represents that there is a commitment to trying to, you know, keep doing the little things right and building up something impressive and making it work. So I honestly, I mean, obviously I hit that comment with a heart and I said, pog up, brother. But that comment felt nice to read. That was a nice comment to read. Ludo Guillotine. We've been blessed with some really strange D100 rolls. But in a way, it's actually, I mean, first off, the Ludo is not bad to begin with. But secondarily, it's also kind of nice to get some of these weirdo items out of the way that can actually screw with a better run. So later on, hopefully I mean, it's like counting cards in a blackjack deck or something like that, right? Like because so many, sixes are out there, we know we're more likely to get tens in the future, which are more beneficial for us, I mean, depending on what card you're showing. But anyway. So we'll take Magic Scab, of course. It's just beneficial. And there's a case to be made for not taking Shade, but we're not going to be sticking with this run too long. One thing I would like to do, and I should have taken a peek for it on the last floor, but I would like to have a battery charge so that we could hold 2 charges. That way, if we D1, I mean, that's praxis. If we have 2 charges stored at one time, and we use a D100 charge, and it rolls us into something dangerous that could kill us or negatively impact our ability to win in the future, we just hit the spacebar again as soon as possible. We can kind of like create that situation as is right now by just, waiting until we find another battery charge for sale or something like that, but I don't have that kind of patience. Are you crazy? Does that sound like me? Well, maybe me more recently. Sure, there's been a little bit more of a doing the little things right. But that, that's where I'm at, and I'm constantly reminding myself, we're getting spiced here. I'm constantly reminding myself, we don't have to be Steve-O to be entertaining. No offense, Steve-O. Now this one, I've got big plans here. We have 43 damage, Incubus, Holy Mantle. Did I say Incubus? I meant Ipecac. Holy Mantle. Like this is... You should stop here. But will we stop here? I don't know. Is definitely like the right thing to do. I mean, this is, you know what? We might, because Ipecac Holy Mantle is already like amazing in its own right. Even if you ignore the fact that our stats are also amazing. I'm not trying to rub it in. But I think we want to try to use Judas's Shadow to double up as long as we have safety after that fact. So if I'm going to do this, what I want to do is get to the shop. I want the shop ideally to have a reroll machine and the Spirit Heart available. And then, if we could become Dark Judas, double our damage, and then buy 4 Spirit Hearts or something and move on from there, then we're talking, right? Dude, that 2 of clubs is already a great pick. I mean, this is like... If we want it to be a steamroll, it could be a steamroll. I think it'll be a fun steamroll, but still. So yeah, and it's always nice to... I mean, here's the thing. I think I have the opposite problem as most streamers. Just to be 100% clear with you. I think, what I'm about to say next is not going to make me sound like a nice guy. But hear me out regardless, okay? I think a lot of streamers are very good at the games that they play, but struggle to get people to watch things that are outside of that viewer's normal watch habit, a game that they're interested in, let's say, because of the fact that maybe they can't get them interested via banter or, conversation or keeping them engaged with weirdo questions and et cetera, et cetera. I for sure have the opposite problem. I was talking about it with Dan this week. I was like, man, I bet if I was just like above average at Call of Duty Warzone, my viewership when I played that game would be like double. Because people would see me streaming it, like on the Twitch directory. This is exactly what we wanted. And they would be like, let's watch this guy. And they'd be like, sure, he's no Shroud. But at the same time, he's pretty entertaining, and most of the time he puts on a relatively solid performance. However, I think I actually turn a lot of people. I get a lot of people invested in the stream with my personality as well, but also I get a lot of people that are like probably tune in and go, this guy's not very good, and then just leave. So I really think, man, if I was just slightly better at games, it would really be a good business decision for me. However, it's never really been a problem, but it's still the secondary part there is it's very nice when people are like, hey, I started watching you know, because of the banter or whatever. And now I'm watching even more because you're actually putting on a good performance. And not even so much like, hey, put on a good performance or I'll be mad, but it's more like it's clear you care about the outcome of the game. And I think that I think it's a very valid point that does make a difference. So thank you. I guess that's really just a very roundabout way of saying thank you. No bad trip? Whatever. Luck down. Who cares? By the way, was Dark Judas worth basically at this point a 10% damage increase? Going from, well, I guess it's like a 9% damage increase, but going from 44 damage to 48? No, it was not. But I'm hoping that now that, because even when we reroll, we're still going to be Dark Judas, which might have a serious knock-on effect when we reroll. If we reroll, and it's like, we really shouldn't. Like, it's so locked in that to reroll is just, I wanted to do it before I talked myself out of it, okay? Because I think it'll be more interesting this way. That's a bad start, though. Okay. So now that, you know what? I think now that I've done it once, I'm okay. Now that I've taken a for sure easy win and re-rolled it, no matter what, I can do whatever I want. So now I'm free. And it's not free from you, it's free from myself. I wouldn't have been able to forgive myself if I lucked into a D100 run so fast it didn't at least try. You gotta at least try. Now, we didn't just throw it away for no reason. You know, we waited until we got a bunch of spirit hearts to make sure we were insulated, and you know, we had a lot of positives working out in our favor. But I couldn't. You know, I gotta maintain some element of that personality. So all that stuff that I was saying earlier, it turns out that was a lie. It's nice to dip my toe back in the water of chaos. No holy mantle is what you got to pay attention to here. I do want to see the power of sad bombs. Sad bombs, very, very good. I thought maybe they would shoot 7 tiers each because of our triple shot, quad shot, but that's okay. Is it? You know what? I bet it's not triple shot, quad shot. I bet it's conjoined and quad shot. I'll take my speed upgrade, please. And I'll take one look. You're my best trip. Is that how that goes? I'll take one rip. Your ride best trip. I don't know the lyrics to all the small things. I'll just say it, okay? I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid who knows it. I do know always. I know you'll be at my show. That one I'm very familiar with. I think we reroll again. Rate of fire is truly horrible. I think this is a full send reroll situation. This is a bad run. Sure. And then leave. Beelzebub is a good pickup. Stats are okay. Rotten Baby's nice. And actually, we got Steam Sale out of that, which allows us to do this. And then just let me hold on to this. I want to see how the fights go. Because for now, we have good stuff. We do not need to reroll this. I'm trying to figure out if it's bad or if it's good, but I think it's bad because we had that Ipecac run so recently that just screwed everything up. Hear me out. I'm looking at this. I'm seeing some zany items. I like this a lot. I think this might be where we call it, which is a shame because I really should have taken Satanic Bible if we're going to get rid of the D100. But here's what I see on this one that I like. Monstro's Lung. Proptosis. Dark Bum. We're already flying. We got good transformations. We got $3 bill. We got weird tier effects. I think this is one that I can get behind. I think I can get a lot of it. Oh, look at this dude. Yeah, okay. I think we made the right decision. So we're still easily going to stomp this. And it's, you really are seeing the true power of multi-dimensional baby in a situation like this, right? Like, I think most of the time, multi-dimensional baby is borderline nothing. But I think if you have a very, very, very strong run, it makes it that much stronger, which is appealing. You know, just to the empire building part of the psyche. Okay, oh, I mean, you're not gonna complain about this. You lived? What gives? So I'm just gonna shelve the D100. The D100 did incredible work for us. The new part of my personality that's important here, we gotta know when to let go. We just gotta know when to let go. You know, we had our fun with that, and now we're moving on. So how am I doing? I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking. It's been a wild day. Today's a Friday, by the way. Last night at midnight, we went to bed, and I saw one of the cats sniffing around in the bed, and I was like, what's going on with that? They don't normally sniff the bed. I wonder if one of the cats peed on the bed. And then it turned out, indeed, Tomo had peed on the bed yet again. Not a good situation, especially, you know, that late at night. You're, like, just about to go to bed, but instead of going to bed, you're like, now I gotta do some laundry. And it's not like you want to sleep on damp sheets, so you gotta make sure that laundry got, like, real freaking dry. So that, you know, didn't have the greatest night's sleep, without a doubt. And then, you know, spent the morning getting, because you know, we've ruled out, like, it doesn't happen that often. It's like once every 2 months. But we've ruled out, like, medical issues with the vets, so it's like a behavioral thing. So we gotta, like, figure out how to make Tomo feel less anxious when there's no human reason for his anxiety in the first place. So we're working on it. You know, we're good pet owners, and we're sorting it out. So I was running around town to whatever stores happened to be open during the, you know, pandemic, obviously, getting that stuff handled. I came back, was gonna start recorded a little bit. Breaker in my office blew. Was like, oh, that's weird. Turned it back on. Recorded a little bit. Breaker in my office blew again. This time it took the modem out with it, and for a while we thought the modem was fried. And I was like, well, that's a bummer, because in like 10 minutes I'm supposed to go live for the Checkpoint League finale. Not the finale of the playoffs, but the regular season finale. And then, you know, we'd have a sponsor stream right after that, which, you know, I don't want to miss out on. I also don't want to go to the sponsor and be like, hey, you know, get this, my internet doesn't work. Sorry, you know, like, but anyway, the good news is it all turned out, you know? We got dry sheets. We got 2 happy cats. The streams went off without a hitch. The modem came back online. The sponsored stream went well, and, you know, I'm here recording my last video of the day. But all of that is a way of saying, you know, it was a bad day in many ways. It was a hard day for sure, but you know, you're gonna have those on occasion. Makes you appreciate the. Well, for me, it really like made me appreciate the, you know, the job I do a lot more. Where I was like, you know, the technical issues are so frustrating. It's the most frustrating part of, you know, I'm sure of many jobs, but it's definitely the most frustrating part of this job. But then, you know, once I got it sorted out and I was able to work, I was like, at least my job is just, you know, playing video games and cracking jokes. Or in the abstract, at least my job is something I love to do. So in its own weird way, being able to do the job is a stress reliever in itself. So there was that for one. I mean, that's really the big one. And on top of that, I spent some time, you know, Kate and I hung out a little bit, you know, on the patio today, just basically taking in some vitamin D. And I was like, you know what? Taking a little time out from this workaday world is quite nice. I was much more relaxed afterwards. Sometimes, and Kate will attest to this for sure, sometimes I have to remind myself, you know, when I get stressed out by, like, a workday that's inefficient for reasons that are beyond my control, I get very frustrated, and then I think about it, and I'm like, at the end of the day, like, you know, if I play the tape forward, what am I really stressed out about? Like, okay, there might be, like, 1 day without a Northernlion tries, or, like, there might be, you know, 1 day without, like, an Eden. There's never, well, I won't say never, but there's not going to be a day without Isaac anytime soon. We're cruising on that one. The backlog's insane. So, like, what are you getting stressed out about? You know, you just be like, hey, sorry, no Northernlion tries today. We got an unbelievable amount of swamped. Oh, yeah. Let's go. So once you kind of play it forward, it's, you feel a little bit silly about being so stressed out about it in the first place, you know? You almost have to look at your situation from somebody else's perspective. You know how, like, when other people tell you their problems, they're always easier to solve? Don't shoot the messenger. That's not me. That's me speaking for everybody. I think, at least. I think it's at least a universally relatable thing. You know, like when I was a teenager, sometimes your friends would come to you and be like, what should I do? Me and my dad had an argument, and then, like, 20 minutes after the argument, when I stopped being mad, I realized he was right. There's no way out of this situation. You're like, well, there's one way out of the situation. You talk to your dad. You don't get it. It's not like that, you know? And then they're doing the same thing to you. You know, my mom cooked roast beef for dinner. I don't like roast beef. What should I do? Tell your mom you appreciate her cooking, but you don't like roast beef, so if it would be possible to work together on some menu alterations in the future that could satisfy both of you, maybe that would be good for both of you. It's not that. Have a conversation with my family. Are you insane? I do think other people's problems are always easier to solve. Even like big things. You know, whenever there's like a political issue or like a public health issue, people are just like, just do this. Okay. I didn't realize it was simple. It was just, oh yeah, I'll just launch universal basic income tomorrow. Oh wait, that's what happened. Well, in here at least. I forgot what I was talking about though. But no, I didn't forget what I was talking about now that I think about it for more than a second. In the same way that I think other people's problems are, you know, easier to solve when you're, when it's not your problem, I think that you can use that to your advantage and, like, try to take a step back from, like, your own situation and be like, you know, how would an outsider feel about this? You know, like, if someone else was telling me about the problems that I have right now, what would I say? And I'd probably be like, dude, don't sweat it. People will understand. You're going to miss, like, a day of videos. The other thing is we're not even going to miss a day of anything because of the fact that, I mean, I am me, for one, so I wouldn't feel right in most situations. And, like, this kind of day is what it took to almost make it happen, which is why it's nearly impossible for it to happen pre-baby, at least. Post-baby, it's a whole new world. We will be making the baby a higher priority than any of the video series, including Isaac. Isaac is my occupational baby, but my baby is my real baby, you know? But yeah, that helped put it into perspective for me. So at the end, it's almost like I would never say, like, man, it was sweet to have a crappy day. But it's, to some extent, having a day that breaks the routine in a negative way does make you appreciate the positives of your normal routine. Now, at the same time, I'm like, man, I really would have liked getting, like, another 3.5 hours of sleep last night. I definitely think that the lesson is valuable, but so is 3.5 hours of sleep. But, you know, you don't have the choice. If you had the choice, it would be an easy choice, but you don't have a choice. You gotta play the cards you're dealt, right? Speaking of playing the cards you're dealt, on this run we did not really have to play the cards we were dealt. This is like, I mean, this is a full light side, green lightsaber, Luke Skywalker run. We started with a high midichlorian count, as well as the ability to respec. We rolled a D100 to respec, and it went from 80 to 97. So, you know, what do you want me to say? This is a really, like, incredible run. To have 30 damage and not have Ipecac is absurd. Did we make the right decision? That's a tough question. Let me hit you with the reality. We made the right decision because it worked out. Without changing anything except the random dice rolling of the D100, it could have easily been the wrong decision. We could have ended up on the other side of this and been like, well, you know what? We probably shouldn't have thrown away, you know, all that good stuff we had for no reason. But I do think, you know, it's like the end of Austin Powers 1, where he says, And we've got freedom and responsibility. It's a very groovy combination, baby. That's what we had here. We had the D100. We said, we're going to use it because I love using it. It's one of the more fun items. Well, not one of the more fun. One of the absolute most fun items in the game for me. But at the same time, we're going to use it in a nice... We can do the little things right while still having a little element of Zane, is I guess what I'm trying to say. You know, everything in moderation, including moderation. As long as we have a few extra spirit hearts or a battery charge in case our roll turns to, you know, garbage, then, you know, you can have an extra cookie after dinner if you're going to be on the treadmill later, you know? It's the spice that makes life nice. It's the spice that makes life nice. It's almost a tongue twister. I hate a tongue twister. Like, of all the schoolyard games and ruses, I can get down with some of them. I love a good game of dodgeball. I haven't played in close to 2 decades, I suppose. Who doesn't? I mean, maybe there's people out there that don't like dodgeball, but I always thought dodgeball is like, it's like the Candy Crush of sports. You know? You don't have to be a great athlete to be good at dodgeball. It probably gives you some advantage, but mostly you just have fun and you're just firing the yeet cannon nonstop. Certainly, I wouldn't suggest it's for everybody, but well, we got the mushroom transformation. What was I talking about before I was talking about dodgeball? Anyway, I was just like, it's a casual sport. It's like in Canada, we have something called soccer baseball. I'm not sure if it's exactly like kickball or rounders is another regionalism I have heard it described as. How does it work? You basically, everybody has baseball positions. So you have like, you know, first base, second base, shortstop, third base, catcher, pitcher, 3 people in the outfield. But instead of you know, pitching a baseball, they like roll a soccer ball at the batter. The batter kicks it, and then, you know, from there it's just baseball rules. That was always like the best sport to play. Whenever we played floor hockey in gym class, you know, there's kids in my high school that, you know, played hockey at like a relatively high, but obviously not professional level, you know, for like 15 years. You're doing your part, you know, you're throwing out some poke checks and you know, you can pass it, but like when they get the puck and they start dangling, you're like, or to get the ball, I should say, you're like, you know what, this is over for me, and that's okay. This is how they feel when we do the public speaking module in class, and I get up there and I'm like, many people have... The Merriam-Webster definition of a bat is a winged creature with echolocation that hangs upside down for somnambulance. Somnambulance means sleep, by the way. They're like, oh my god, this guy, he's putting... What is he talking? I'd like to hear what he's saying. He's off the map. Anyway, I don't know. Dodgeball's fun. That's the bit. The bit today, dodgeball's fun. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. See ya!